special program, Capital Beat. Let's talk about the West Bengal panchayat polls today. Now, the figures which are coming in, Trinamool Congress is dominating the rural polls by bagging over 12,518 seats. It's maintaining a strong lead in about 3,620 seats. Its nearest rival, BJP, has won 2,781 seats and leading in 915 seats. Left Front has won 915 seats. Now, this is just a tally because the counting is still underway. Now, polls to these 74,000 panchayat seats have been marred by violence, booth capturing, killings. And let me also tell you that some 12,000 seats have been uncontested. So basically, the polls have taken place on about 63,229 Gram Panchayat seats. So what's the larger message of this Panchayat polls? What is the ramification it has on the political prospects of parties like Trinamool Congress, Left Front, and BJP? And will it also have a resounding effect on the general elections which are coming in? Because many say that this Panchayat polls is almost preparing a ground for the opposition. Joining me now is a very special panel. I'm joined by Professor Monjir, Mondol, who is a TMC supporter. Thank you so much for joining. We have senior journalist Monideepa, Banerjee, and Samir Purkayastha from the Federal. Thank you so much. And we have political commentator Vinod Shukla also joining us. Thank you, Vinod, so much for joining. And let me begin with Samir Purkayastha, who would give us the actual picture right now. So is it true that Trinamool Congress is really maintaining a strong lead? And what are the latest numbers showing, Samir, according to the information you are getting from the ground?
Yeah, Trinamool is clearly surging ahead of its rivals, both BJP and the Left Congress combined. And it's on expected line. It was expected that Trinamool will sweep this panchayat elections. The main, interest was actually how much the Left and the Congress combined gain in this rural polls, because we have been seeing some resurgence of Left and Congress combined. And whether this focus was whether the BJP could retain its position. So by and large, though BJP is retaining its stronghold in North Bengal, overall their BJP's vote share is likely to slide. BJP is likely to emerge as the biggest loser in these elections, whereas TMC is likely to retain its hold of 40-45% vote shares, and the biggest gainer likely to be the Congress and the Congress and the Left. Though it may not reflect in number of seats they gain, but in a voting percentage. In last assembly elections, their vote percentage had dropped to around 10 odd percent. So this is likely to increase. And another significant, development we saw in this election is the way the Congress and Left put up resistance against the TMC. If you see, even on the poll day violence, TMC was actually at the receiving end of the violence. Most of the deceased were from were TMC workers, and perhaps this is for the first time after TMC came to the power in 2011. They face this kind of challenge and resistance, and unexpectedly this resistance didn't come from the BJP. It came from the Congress, CPM combined. The BJP largely, dependent on making complaints to the governor or filing court cases. But on the ground, it's the Congress and the Left who slugged it out with the TMC. And this this time it may not reflect in the number of seats, but the ground they are gaining, because this will definitely gives a lot of confidence to their supporters, and they can build up on this, these small gains they are making. So in the day, and another important aspect is that in minority dominated areas in particularly, this resistance is resistance is felt more severely, like in Malda and Murshidabad. So this is also, though TMC may sweep this election, but there will be some kind of ominous sign for the party, because it clearly shows that the cracks started appearing in TMC's minority citadels.
I was just reading, Monideepa, I'll come to you, that West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose has said that, 5 polls on ballot and not on the bullet. And he said that elections are not a ground to test one's physical strength. Now, what was the reason behind so much of pre-poll violence? And also on the day of the polling, there were so many people who got killed. And this time it really became a big talking point. Now, does that show that the parties are really losing ground? Is that an indication of the fact that how competitive things are on the ground, whether it is TMC, whether it's BJP or the left front?
Certainly, it's an indication of how competitive politics is and has been always in West Bengal, and particularly in the panchayat elections, we see a bloody demonstration of that. And this is what, but as Samir said, the results are along expected lines. The Trinamool is surging ahead. Okay, the CPM is getting a little blip on the chart, maybe the Congress, BJP is there, it may have a slide in its percentage of votes. Those are, on the sideline. The moot point is Trinamool is surging ahead. The question that then arises is, why the need for the violence by Trinamool? I mean, it's definitely, ek haath se to tali nahi bajti, but the Trinamool as a ruling party, the party in authority in the state with a huge mandate in 2021. Why this violence? And what the question that comes out of this is, will history repeat itself? In 2018, we saw similar horrific violence in Bengal. And the result was that in 2019, when the parliamentary elections were held, the BJP went from 1 parliamentary seat to 18 because of revenge voting virtually by voters who had failed to stamp the ballot in the panchayat polls. So this is a bit of a Pyrrhic situation for the Trinamool Congress, completely unnecessary violence in my view, but one that could cost in 2024, which is now just months away.
Professor Manojit, if I may come to you, would you not say that it is a failure of the state machinery as far as the state government is concerned, the state election commission is concerned, when you have so much of violence and so many of your own party workers also have been killed? What would one say? I mean, even despite the leads which TMC has got, can you justify this kind of a violence? And will it not cost your own party in 2024 elections, as Monideepa just said?
You see, every act of violence at local level in a particular state, if you start connecting them with the larger question of law and order, then I'm afraid that each and every state in the country should have some vicarious responsibility like that. These violence, of course, the violence has taken place. Murders have taken place, despite the fact that we have been on the receiving end. The TMC, as my previous speaker correctly pointed out, these are happening at local levels. And most of the time, the enmities happen between even in the same family. You see that in the same family, you have 3 political parties contesting. These examples are also there.
When violence and killings happen in Manipur, you have Mamata Banerjee questioning the Manipur government on this. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Question Mamata Banerjee.
It's not just the question of Manipur. When people are getting killed under the police protection, the under trials in UP, when you have encounters in broad daylight, when the sand mafias, coal mafias are killing officers in Haryana, do we raise the same kind of question about law and order?
We do.
These are happening under the protection of law.
I have done so many panel discussions.
I'm not
questioning
saying
the
that
Yogi government, questioning Manohar Lal Khattar's government. We have done it. We have done it.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying the larger world of media. They never, I mean, how many shows the larger media is having on Manipur, for God's sake, for the last 2 months? How many tweets have you seen from the Prime Minister?
No, but
Or
is
one
that
part
the
of the
reason why
country
we
is
should not question Mamta Banerjee?
literally burning.
But is that the reason why we should not be questioning Mamta Banerjee on this?
I'm not for a moment, I'm not justifying what has happened by bringing in Manipur, but that's a fact of history. That's fact of life in India. You know, violence in some form or the other has been part of Indian ethos. It's very unfortunate, but this is true. You know, if you don't have violence in Maharashtra, what do? You buy government. If you don't have violence in Madhya Pradesh, you buy a party. Like you have a BJP called Dal Kharidlu Party, Sarkar Kharidlu Party. So there are different manifestations of, you know, what you call mockery of democracy in parts of the country. Now, why Bengal has been singled out? I mean, how many TV shows do you have on panchayat polls? For God's sake, Tripura, you know, in other parts of the state where 90% of the seats remain uncontested. In Bengal, only 10% of the seats are.
Manojit, just allow me to interrupt you for a few seconds.
Yes,
I'll come back to you. Samir wants to make a point. Yes, Samir, go ahead.
See, look, it's not that Bengal is being singled out. Actually, Bengal stands out in political violence. If you see the statistics, it's clearly, you know, irony. If you see the other kinds of violence, the numbers are very less in Bengal. But when it comes to political violence, it certainly lead ahead of any other states, way ahead. And there is, you know, there is context to it, both historic as well as political context. If you see the Bengal society, even pre-independence, politics in Bengal was very violent. Revolutionary leaders, most of the revolutionary leaders who took up arms were from Bengal. Then after independence, this Nakshal movement continued, you know, violent Nakshal movement, and Bengalis have always, you know, kind of endorsed this kind of violence. Gandhi never, you know, Gandhi never attracted Bengali psyches as much as the revolutionary. Similarly, after independence, you see the Nakshal leaders like Charu Majumdars and all, despite propagating violence openly, they have been hailed as a kind of hero. So that is historic context. But and now there is also political context to it. Particularly after the left came to the power, they converted Bengali society into a political society. Particularly in rural areas, the stake is you know, so high. You have to align with the ruling party. You have to win panchayats to dominate the rural economy. So the stake is so high. This time, you see, Mamta Banerjee and even Abhishek Banerjee appealed for peace. Particularly, Abhishek Banerjee had appealed for peace, but that's certainly not being heeded on the ground, because the local panchayat leaders, his stake is so high that he's not willing to give up.
Right. Absolutely. But that's what the question was. And Monojit, I'll come back to you that, you know, the violence and elections have almost become synonymous in Bengal. And one will have to question Mamta Banerjee on this. Yes, Monojit.
So then in 2021, many people were also killed. It was happening under the Election Commission of India, when the central forces killed 4 people in broad daylight. You have seen in Shitalkuchi. By the way, TMC is winning Shitalkuchi. All the seats in Shitalkuchi in that particular booth, TMC is winning. So this also happened. I mean, I will certainly go to a large extent to my previous speakers, Mr. Samir. It's a culture, unfortunately, it has been there. Drastically, it has come down in the last 10, 12 years, you can probably say. If you take the statistics, Monideepa, I know you are nodding your head, but that's the statistics. I'm not going to count on the dead bodies, certainly, because this is still unfortunate part of Bengal election. It is happening. And I tell you, to find out a solution, just if I may complete.
So that's an unacceptable kind of a statement. You are saying that I'm not going to count the dead bodies. Then what is the message you're trying to give?
No, I'm saying that what happened in 2018 and what is happening now, I'm not going to compare with that. That's what I wanted to mean. Probably the message is wrong. Okay. The fact remains that this needs to stop it. We need to have goodwill from all the political parties, all the political leaders, even at the local level, I repeat, its enmities are largely because of local issues, because of the local level issues, while even the leaders may not have proper control. So the people are having, all kinds of personal enmities with one family and the other family. It's happened, but it needs to stop. But for that, we need to have goodwill from all the political parties.
Manojit, is it because of the local issues, or the elections have become highly competitive because of the entry of BJP? Then I'm going to come to Vinod Shukla after this. Yes, Manojit.
You see, BJP is one of the most violent political parties in the world. They rose to power through violence since late 1980s. If you look at the history, I mean, in fact, they came to prominence through demolition of Babri Masjid. That's one of the most violent acts of the last century. So I do not really wish to talk about how much the violence BJP has infused in a new, refreshing manner, because their culture is violence. I mean, look at the number of criminals they have harbored in the parliament, including a terrorist. So they believe in this kind of culture. And here also, Nilu, if you look at the level of high octave campaign that they held, they talked about only violence, central forces, violence, counter violence. My friend was talking about resistance. What is the resistance is all about? Is it through bombs and bullets or through ballots? It is the resistance through bullets, which was harbored by opposition combined, and that's why we have lost so many of our cadres, especially in Murshidabad. In a single day, we had lost 6 of our cadres in Murshidabad, while Congress, CPM, and BJP, they are fighting the elections together.
Right.
So I mean, it is on their part also. I mean, they did not have the elections on the issue of development, roads, electricity, water, houses, nothing. The only narrative from their side was how to control violence, central forces, resistance, bullets, bombs, and so on and so forth.
Right. Now, let me come to Vinod Shukla now. It's like a cycle of violence, what we are witnessing. And now, in the run-up to the 2024 elections, are we going to see a similar cycle of violence in all those states where the BJP is not a ruling party? Are we going to see the same kind of a competitive violence, revenge voting, as what Monideepa said? Or is it just a sign which we see in Bengal? Many say that we are going to expect a similar kind of a pattern in many states in the run-up to the 2024. Yes,
see, Nilu, violence of this sort is not going to happen anywhere. This is typically Bengal feature, and this will happen only in Bengal, that's assured. Such kind of violence is West Bengal's, has become now West Bengal's identity. So that that will be witnessed only in West Bengal. Now I have to make 1 or 2 points. You asked that is it a failure of the government? No, it is success of the government that they did not allow others to vote. They stopped, their cadre did not allow. In the last elections, they did not even allow people to file their nomination. This time, many dared to file their nomination, but people were not allowed to vote for them. So the number is just because of that. State government controls state election commission. That's why most of the central forces were not deployed. So the number is there. As Monideepa was saying correctly, that 2 things will happen. 1, central forces will be deployed. Second, people out of frustration, out of anger will vote against Trinamool Congress. And third, there is some resurgence in Congress and left votes. So there will be a triangular fight. And if Trinamool Congress is confined to 10 seats in Lok Sabha, no one should wonder. One thing I want to certainly say, they are just washing their hand out of this. They are actively involved. Manojit was saying that the others, I'm not talking about BJP or everybody is not talking about development. Only Trinamool Congress is talking about development. The only development, the only industry that that is thriving in West Bengal, that is cottage industry and cottage industry of local bomb making. Nothing else is the state which produced literary luminaries like, well, there are lots, I don't want to name anyone, that state is identified, is being identified with violence and such kind of ghastly violence. This is shameful for a state like West Bengal.
No, but you don't agree that BJP has also contributed a fair share to the violence? Of course, it has been there even during the left front government, but BJP has contributed a fair share of violence.
Nilu, violence, if BJP is involved in organized violence in West Bengal, I'm not talking about UP and any other state, what is the responsibility of the state government? Had this been happening in any other part, when they are questioning about Manipur, this is whataboutery. They are just not answering the question they are being posed. They are involved in whataboutery.
Okay, I'm interrupting you here because the time is short and we have a limited time. Yes, Manojit, you were raising your hand. Then I'll go to Monideepa.
No, what do we do? Do we arrest Shubhendu Adhikari for issuing all those provocative statements, including endorsing stealing of ballot boxes? We can't do, because he has given almost an unhindered immunity by one particular judge in Calcutta High Court. We can't even file FIR against Shubhendu Adhikari. What are you talking about, sir? Look at the statements of all their big leaders, starting from Sukanta Majumdar to Dilip Ghosh. Every other day they are provoking their cadres. Shubhendu was instructing the CASF not to act. And deployment of CASF was it should have been done by the IG, border security out there, because he was given that power by the Calcutta High Court. Why was it not done? Why was he watching all those killings when we lost our people, right? And you can't have both ways. On the one hand, you will criticize the government. On the other hand, we can't file FIR. I mean, these people should have been house arrested. Shubhendu Adhikari, Adit Chaudhary,
Vinod wants to say something
prior to 2 days of the election.
Okay, Vinod, you want to say
they should have been confined to their houses.
Yes.
I guess Manojit doesn't understand how the state machinery and central machineries function. It is state machinery that tells where two central forces are to be deployed, and if proper deployment is not happening, such kind of violence will
special
take
permission
place.
was given to them.
Manojit, let me finish. You can say
you are not informed properly.
No, they are not informed.
One by one.
It is a state government that compromised with the information, with the deployment, because had there been central forces, they would not, the cadre of TMC would not allowed to run amok. So this is the case. They were allowed. They were allowed to capture booths with the connivance of state machinery. This is the fact. You should accept, and of course you won't accept because that.
No, I'll come to the concluding comments later, but I want to go to Monideepa first. At Monideepa, the kind of looting of ballot boxes, the killings, the violence, of course, we see that there's a lot of competition on the ground. But are things really slipping out of Trinamool's hand? As you said initially that, it might cost Trinamool heavily. Are we going to expect in the run-up to the panchayat polls, and is panchayat polls an indication of the fact that TMC might have a lead, but BJP is penetrating to the nooks and corners of West Bengal, which may pose a grave difficulty for TMC in 2024? Is this poll an indication of that?
This moment, I really can't imagine, that the BJP is penetrating into Bengal further than it has already. After all, they do have about 70 MLAs. So no, I don't, I'm not 100% sure about that. But what I'm questioning is, Monojit Babu, if you kindly explain, and it's very worrying that a spate of Trinamool leaders over the last 48 hours have been publicly saying that this violence has to stop. I mean, even Madan Mitra, the MLA from North 24 Parganas, he has said this has to stop. You're a former police officer who's a party leader. He also has said that has to stop. Civil society, which backed Mamata Banerjee's call for Parivartan, they are also piping up and saying that, it's embarrassing that West Bengal is being so closely associated with the kind of violence we have seen. So my worry is that, if Trinamool doesn't take guard, if Trinamool doesn't take lessons from what has happened in the past, it could be in trouble. And that's the last thing that they want for opposition unity and so on. One other question, if I may ask Monojit Babu. On polling day, I think 9 Trinamool people were killed. And before that, several others were also killed in the pre-poll violence. My question is, how much of it was infighting? Is there an answer to that? Out of 9 people on polling day, how many people were killed because of infighting within the Trinamool family?
Right. Banerjee, you were, that's an important question which Monideepa.
No. They were evidently killed by the opposition. You could see that. No question of infighting at all. They were visibly killed by in Malda, in Murshidabad and Malda largely. And Monideepa, those Murshidabad and Malda are still Congress bastions, and where left and BJP have also joined them. Maximum violence took place in Murshidabad and Malda. And traditionally, these are Congress bastions. Even the 2 MPs that you have in the Parliament of Congress is from Malda and Murshidabad. So there is no question of an infighting at all. I have to leave, Nilu, because I have a show at 6.
Okay.
So
Okay, fine, Monojit. Thank you so much for joining. I'll come to Samir now. Monideepa did raise important questions, but the number 2 spot of the political parties, TMC is leading, TMC is dominating in most of the seats right now. But the number 2, would you say it's BJP or the Congress and left combined? Because the counting is still underway. Yes, Samir.
See, as of now, of course, BJP will be at number 2, even in percentage of votes. But surely, BJP's vote share is declining.
Okay.
And it's gradually declining since 2019.
Right.
And these panchayat elections, forget about violence and all, that's nobody is denying. There were violence, large-scale violence. But despite that, we have never seen a strong anti-TMC wave as yet in the state. And this and that's despite so many corruption charges against that. So why is it so? Is it that people are no longer believing because ED and CBI has been so much misused that people may not be believing that these are real corruption cases? So this kind of allegations are not sticking.
Right.
Firstly, second, second thing, this for the TMC's continuing hold in rural areas. See, the welfare measures, welfare schemes. These schemes by and large is working well. People are getting benefits of that. Maybe there are, of course, there are some here and there are some problems, some misuses, but overall, largely these welfare schemes are working well at the grassroots level. So the party is benefiting out of that. Now the question is why then this need for this kind of large-scale violence? As I say, I pointed out earlier, the stake is so high at the grassroots level among the party workers. Even if this top leaderships, if they want to break this cycle of violence, they are unable to do so because for the local panchayat leaders, the stakes are very high. So they are not willing to give up it so easily. And that is because, employment generation is very less in rural areas. There is no other avenues. So most of the youths and peoples are politics is providing gainful employment.
Absolutely.
To most of the people in rural areas.
Right. Right. So the last 2 questions now to Vinod and Monideepa. Monideepa, I'll come to you first. That this panchayat poll elections in West Bengal, does it look like some kind of a precursor to 2024? Does it prepare a solid ground of how the politics will unfold between TMC, Congress left combined, and BJP in West Bengal? And of course, also the ramifications on the national politics it could have.
That's right. I mean, given the gains that the left and Congress appear to be making in this panchayat elections, the big question that will dangle before the Patna opposition or now the Bangalore opposition meeting that's going to come up is how are they going to sort out Trinamool and Congress at war in Bengal, but partners at the national level. This has always been a thorny issue. And now with a slight resurgence of the left and Congress, it's going to become even more, a more sharp thorn in the flesh between Mamata Banerjee, the Congress, and the left. How that will impact the opposition unity is something we'll have to watch out for.
That's quite a significant point. And of course, all eyes would be on what happens in the Bangalore meeting and what's the formula which they work around. But for BJP's prospects, if I may ask you, Vinod, how is it really going to unfold? Looking at this panchayat poll results, the kind of impact or the political impact it might have on BJP. Is it going to be a difficult breach for BJP in the region, in states, especially where the regional parties are very, very strong, be it West Bengal, be it Telangana, be it I can't say that I'm the same for UP, but of course, you have a strong Samajwadi party over there. So can BJP breach the regional bastions really?
See, Nilu, around a year ago, I spoke to one of my friend in West Bengal just to know what is happening there. Because I had to participate in one of such debate. So the friend told me that the BJP is in very bad shape there, and if today election takes place, maximum it will get 1 or 2 seats. BJP has 18 in the parliament, 18 or 17. I don't remember the exact number. 17 or 18. Okay, but now if today election happens, the kind of results this panchayat results are coming, it appears that BJP is doing fairly well. Okay, so for me, the BJP started gaining from there, and there are 8 months in 2024 elections now. As Monideepa was saying, that there is slight gain in Congress and left vote share. So basically, Trinamool, the Muslim vote of Trinamool Congress is now confused. So they are switching over to Congress, and there is that way there is a split. There is split in the Muslim vote that was consolidated for Trinamool Congress. And if this happens, the
BJP will stand to gain.
BJP's vote is intact, and they will play the Hindutva card, and in triangular context, the triangular contest always suits BJP. Right. This is what my takeaway for today. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give the last word to Samir because he was nodding his head while you spoke. Samir, so from 18 seats, do you see a jump in the number of seats which BJP probably might win for 2024? Well, a very brief comment, and then I'll end the program.
No, I think BJP is yet to find a winning formula in Bengal. In 2009, it was because of, as Monideepa pointed out, it's because of the revenge voting. This Hindutva card is definitely not working here, and they are even now toying with the idea of changing this Jai Sri Ram slogan to Jai Durga Ma or Jai Ma Kali. So we are yet to see what will be their their formula, but they are still haven't find any winning formula here.
Right. So I think the regional states probably will be a difficult job for BJP. But yes, as what Samir said, that they are trying to change their formula from Jai Shri Ram is Jai Durga, Ma Durga Kali. So we'll have to wait and watch what BJP's trump card in West Bengal will be. And of course, as far as national politics is concerned, how BJP unfolds in various other states where regional parties are strong. Thank you so much, Monideepa, Samir, Purkayastha, Vinod Shukla. It was wonderful having you on the program. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching the Federal, send us your feedback. Stay tuned to the Federal. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.